Welcome to the last week of the regular season for Turn Up Bear Down, Week 18. We're here again with Coach Matt Jansen. How are we doing today?
Hey, baby, I'm doing great. This is hopefully this is our last episode and game during the Nagy era. So
Yeah.
fired up. We've been waiting for Black Monday for how long? Probably 2 years too long. But
Yeah.
no, I mean honestly, probably I would say probably last year probably is when it should happen. But we're seeing the changing of the guard, new era. It's too bad that Justin Fields can't play because that would be another cool piece to just be watching for his development as we move into next year and the next regime. So, yeah, man, just ready for a change in the guard. I think all Bears fans out there are really ready for a switch and for a turn up, a little bit of a 180, go a different direction with new people and new faces. So,
Yep.
excited that I'm here, man. Thanks for having me.
For Justin Fields' sake. So, going off that, we have a new category or segment here on the show. We have opening thoughts. So, Nagy's gone on Monday. Is that your thought? What's going
It's
on?
got to be. Yeah,
I
we're just.
I agree. Yep.
He's going to go, and we'll talk about in our next episode. We'll kind of talk about some playoffs. We'll also talk about what kind of candidates that we like for your Chicago Bears next head football coach. So
yeah, give me a couple guys that you're excited about. You got anybody yet?
Yeah, I mean, Harbaugh's not leaving Michigan, so everyone can just stop talking about that right now.
He said he's
honestly,
open to move to like the Rams or Raiders.
The hot names are Leftwich, Ryan Dable. I've heard several names, whether it be from the college ranks. Some people from college. I'm not completely sold on college. I think again, I wouldn't mind if we went after a D coordinator. And either a D coordinator or like I said, and honestly, I might say my pick. I'm going to say my pick until just a little teaser for our fans. If you want to hear Coach Jansen and Scott's, picks of the future and probably most accurate, because let's be honest, again, we work for the Bears. You'll tune in next week. So, but yeah, there's definitely some names out there, and we'll see which way they go.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about who stays, who goes. I think that as we've talked, Nagy's got to be gone. I would be fine if they kept a few of the guys on staff. Like Desai, I mean, the defense hasn't been great this year, but I think he's shown improvement. He's done some things. Also, he's like in his first year.
Get him out of here. He's
gone.
Get him out of here.
You
Dude.
want him
learn
all
somewhere
gone?
else, bro. Go learn somewhere else. I'm glad you're from the Fangio tree, and that means something because Fangio is a goat. But I don't know. Unless we can make some notable splashes, I don't see how the defense really gets that much better next year.
That's true. But Khalil Mack's probably back, and then if you get rid of a few guys there, I mean, it's going to be tough because, gosh, Hicks is probably gone.
Right. When is that unit going to play a full season together? How many?
I think it's already happened.
It's already happened. There'll be a breakdown.
2018, the NFC North champs here. So, but yeah, and then
Andy Dalton's obviously there'd be no reason to re-sign him, even if he looks amazing.
The Red Rifle. Yep.
So let's see. Maybe keep Damian Williams if you like him. I do like him as a change of pace back, but honestly, with the emergence of Khalil Herbert, you probably don't keep him. Unless he just wants to be around and take a team friendly deal, kind of a safe investment. Because it's shown that you're going to use 3 to 4 backs in a season. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
Ryan Nall played for us, for crying out loud. This year. Ryan Nall. Shout out to Ryan Nall out there. All the Ryan Nalls out there.
Yeah. What do you think about Tariq Cohen then? If we're talking about running backs, he didn't even play it down this year.
That's another thing. That's why I don't even know. Like, I'm sure Damian Williams is a different running back than Tariq Cohen. Tariq Cohen isn't going to tote the ball that much. He's just your receiving back. I do still think that there's value there. If he still wants to be a returner, think about putting him and Jakeem Grant back there to return kickoffs.
That would be a lot of speed.
Yikes. Just think about some of the reverses and handoffs you could do because they're so athletic and because they are so game breaking with the ball. Yeah. And that leads me to my other point, man. We need we need to get the news, social media mainstream going. Keep Chris Tabor as your special teams coordinator. He has done nothing but done good things in Chicago. Cairo Santos has been nails. The Cody Parkey stuff had nothing to do with him. I think we've always really covered kicks pretty well. And that goes back into the Dave Tope days, obviously, for the most part. But
For sure.
special teams has been an asset. It hasn't been maybe necessarily number one special teams, but I know it's always been up there. It's always a quality unit.
Yeah.
So he's someone I think should stay. Plus, he's a St. Joe guy, Scott. So we're both pulling for him.
Yep.
In the secondary, you're looking at a lot of young talent, but just talking about it, this tomorrow, you'll be able to kind of evaluate who is someone who you want to keep and build around, because some of these corners that are getting on their third, fourth year on their deal, we're gonna have to make a decision on pretty soon.
And Jalen Johnson's the guy. I mean,
he's the guy.
He played.
Pay him now before he gets better.
He played Devontae Adams really well in that game. He had a few games in a row, and honestly, like last time we played the Vikings, we shut him down with a bunch of guys who weren't even our starters. That was an incredible night. So
that's one of the more impressive things that's happened this year that no one's going to ever talk about, because we didn't win the game. So really nice. I think a lot of that was actually probably a little bit of disguise. We also got to Kirk a little bit.
I like a lot of those guys too, and I'm really excited about Jalen Johnson. I mean, I thought he did a lot of good things. The last time we played the Vikings, that was a really impressive effort from the defensive secondary, where you had all four of our starters on the COVID list. Gibson has been all right, and Travis Gibson, the 99, he had two sack strip fumbles or whatever in last week's game. That guy came to play. I think Robert Quinn, if he can continue to produce. After year one of Robert Quinn, I was like, oh my gosh, that was a terrible pickup. And now he's setting franchise record for sacks in the season, which I guess it would be harder to get as many sacks if you have Khalil Mack on the other side, but for us, it really doesn't. It really doesn't matter.
You can't discredit getting 20 almost sacks.
That's amazing.
I think. What's he need? Does he need? Oh no, that's T.J. Watt.
Yeah, he already got the record. He's just chasing Watt for whoever's going to have the title for this season. So
for sure. I mean, he's going to make the Pro Bowl. It's going to go down as one of the best, pass rushing years in Bears history.
Really
sneaky. And when Khalil Mack comes back next year, even though I know we're talking about an aging defense, we're still going to keep Khalil Mack. We'll just pair him up with Quinn, and it'll get a boost automatically.
Yeah.
It will be a better pass rush. I think the key moving forward, Scott, is Eddie Goldman's development. Yeah. He has not taken the jumps, and we haven't quite got the production and the longevity out of him that I thought we would get.
And this is the first time he's played in like 2 years too. So no, exactly. I agree. We might have to, maybe Tonga can pick it up too. He had a couple of nice games, I would say, when he was in that role.
He's got upside as a rotational D tackle.
Yeah, I will say that it's going to be really sad, but we're thinking Akeem Hicks is gone. I mean, you talk about a guy who just, when he's out there, he just looks tough. He looks like he's like, this is going to make our team better. And we are so much better when he's out there, but just can't stay healthy. And it just,
I mean, here's the deal. I don't think he would be opposed to coming back, and maybe a year or, I don't think he plays over 2 years, but I do think a year or whatever. Dude, he is our spiritual animal. He is the Bears franchise spiritual animal, bro. Like he's a folklore,
he really is.
Literally, like he is the identity of that defense. Even though it's always been Khalil Mack's name, it's always been his personality out when you're out there and you watch the games. And so if we can even get him just for another year, even if he plays 8 to 10 games, like he's an impact player when he plays. He is. Yeah. He absolutely destroys blocks and takes up space. And again, if we could have him, that's great. If not, he's obviously got to be held up in very high regards to Bear fans in his time with us.
For sure. I think that wrapping up, just who stays, who goes. Jimmy Graham's probably gone, or is that right?
Got to be. Yeah, he's on his last year, I believe, of his deal.
He had a really strange year this year. Like he disappeared for the first 6 games, like they didn't even play him, and then all of a sudden, when Andy Dalton came back,
because he makes fun of Matt Nagy on Twitter. He really doesn't care. He doesn't give a flip.
When Andy Dalton came back in, they're like, "Give me Jimmy Graham," and he just and Foles too. They're like, put Graham in, I'll throw it to him, he'll catch a touchdown. So he like somehow probably has like what 3 or 4, maybe 5 touchdowns on the year. Probably has more receiving touchdowns than anybody else, and he's probably played like 20% of the snaps or something. Probably lower than that even.
That's
So
Jimmy Graham, man. It's the most perplexing. The last stop in Green Bay, and then with us,
yeah,
even with Seattle, has not even been a glimpse of himself. But it's been the usage too, and just it's been weird. But
yeah,
Jimmy Graham, if he wants, can still play football because of his skill set. He could continue to play and just cash in on retirement as much as he wants, because who's not going to take a chance on him and throw a couple million his way?
I don't know. All right,
You know,
so as
go
we
ahead.
continue to go forward here, draft options. We don't have a
Draft
first
options.
round pick.
Hey,
What'd you say?
I was going to say, due to time constraints from our sponsorship, we probably should get to the next slide. I don't even know. I mean, again,
Yeah.
fans, if you want these draft options, you need to come and check our next episode out. I mean, I'm calling you out. Turn up, bear down. Fan nation, you need to come check our next one out. We'll have a plethora of draft options and some updated playoff stuff and who we like moving forward.
Yeah.
Come check us out next episode.
And we will be talking about teams playing in the playoffs, not just the Bears next week, because there is no game. So that being said, we do have a game this week. It's the Bears, the Vikings, Week 18. Here are your keys to the game for me. I'm looking for a defensive repeat from the Bears. Can they do what they did on Monday night defensively? They were awesome. They really were. Throw it down the field. I was hoping Justin Fields was going to play in this game, but he's not now. It's going to be Andy Dalton. And then don't stall on offense, because last time we played the Vikings, we like outgained them, outplayed them, but yet we didn't get points because we had – how many times did we not convert in the red zone? Like 3, I think. Maybe 3, at least 3, maybe 4. It was a nightmare.
Super weird game.
Yeah,
Super weird
super
game
weird
again.
game.
Everyone just wants to go for it and trust the analytics, and there's just
Yeah,
you're taking feel out of the decision making a little bit. But yeah, that was a super weird game.
for sure. And then for the Vikings, Cousins needs to play. I put that because last week he did not play against the Packers, and it was a nightmare. Like, they looked so bad out there. If the Vikings can protect the red zone again, then that'll allow them to, we won't score anything if they do that again. And then can their stars make plays? Because, again, honestly, I've been – not that I shouldn't be, because the Vikings are a rival. Like, we always, talk a lot of smack on our rivals, but – the Vikings have to be one of the most underachieving teams in the last 4 or 5 years. Like every sports writer that I read and such says, oh, they're going to be a playoff team. They might win the division. They'll challenge the Packers. They have Cousins. They have these receivers. They have Dalvin Cook, a solid defense. But yet here they are again, and the best they could be this year is 8-9 on the season. And we kind of knocked them out of the playoffs last year. Well, leading up to the playoffs, we kind of eliminated them from playoff contention, and I think they might have won a playoff game the year before against the Saints. And then the year before that, we also knocked them out. That was the year that we lost in the playoffs. But they really have been an underachieving team. So what are you thinking of these keys to the game?
Yeah, I like a lot of them. You have their throw down field, and that's a key element. But for us, and really for Andy Dalton over his career, you look, when he's able to complete the big passes, he wins.
For sure.
When he's not able to even hook up on those deep balls, and he's got a nickel and dime down the field and short passing game, which I'm not going to say he isn't decent at. I do think that's an asset he has, is being efficient in the short passing game. But if he doesn't complete those good throws, then he can't really extend those drives and score quickly in order to put up more points for us. Obviously, I think we were all shocked kind of to see our secondary that was, our starting secondary was all out. And then for the most part, some backups coming in and doing what they did to Justin Jefferson. I think that was a little bit of circumstantial of being cold, being in Chicago, and, having a decent game plan.
Definitely.
So I'll give Sean a little bit of credit, but I don't know if we're going to have that same effect. The key again is to stop Dalvin Cook for the most part, control him, and then just get to Kirk Cousins. If you rush Kirk Cousins a split second, you got one of the better chances against any quarterback to speed up their decision making, and again throw a pick, tip ball, whatever. So Kirk Cousins will give you the ball if you get to him. he will give your defense, opportunities for turnovers. So, and again, us efficiency in the red zone when we get there, like I said, can't be like last game where we stall out. We put ourselves in difficult positions to score. Um, if you're Matt Nagy again, you're obviously playing hopefully for your next job, and wanting to put some good tape out there, especially on offense because you're an offensive guy. So you would hope by now. Again, I think Bill Lazor, whoever's putting that game plan together, it's looser. Again, there's absolutely no reason to not get ridiculous with some of the concepts and what you want to do, just for the simple fact of, you want to gain some steam moving into the off season. You want your team to look good. You obviously have a connection with people, in that locker room and those players. So you want to send them out. Why not bring back one of your signature plays that you call Santa Slice? Just, dude, it doesn't even matter. Just some form of creativity, I think, would be good for your look and the identity of the football team moving forward. So,
Yeah,
definitely.
you want David Montgomery throwing touchdown passes or interceptions.
Philly special, David Montgomery throwing touchdown passes. Or does that, or Darnell Mooney. I don't care. Like, just mix it up, man. You have nothing to lose. As far as the Vikings, if Dalvin Cook gets off, good luck. If Dalvin Cook can, starts to get going, they're able to have success on the ground and start to wear us down. We're done. So that's a huge facet is containing him, especially early. What's Justin Jefferson going to do?
Last time he was shut down, if I'm being honest. Hey, I do have to bring up this. The Bears defense currently ranks 5th in the NFL
In what?
in total yards. So because they go by total yards to determine like ranking of overall defense, we are currently 5th. It's because we're 3rd in pass defense. We're not very good against the run, surprisingly, but it also helps that we played one of your favorite guys in the NFL, Mike Glennon, last week, and he was like completing passes for negative yards. I think he had finished the game with 24 yards passing. So I know you appreciate that because he's one of your favorites.
Yep, the ostrich.
So, all right, let's get into key players here that can achieve these keys to the game. So for the Bears, I really wanted to put Justin Fields on here again, but obviously he's not playing neither, and we didn't know who was playing because of, I don't know, we're the Bears at this point. But Robert Quinn, now that he has the Bears record, I want to see him try to get TJ Watt for the most sacks in a season. For this season. Jalen Johnson, can he have another big game against Justin Jefferson? And then Darnell Mooney really has been uh, sneakily having a good year. Like, people wouldn't think about it, but I've seen him do a lot of things, a lot of good catches over the middle, turn them into something else. And so I'm going to look to him to really make some splash plays, hopefully, in this game. And then it's easy for the Vikings. I mean, Cousins, Jefferson, and Cook, these are their stars on offense. And can they really put this thing together? If they do, it could be a really long day for the Bears, especially if Cook gets running. But to go off of something we talked about earlier, Akeem Hicks is the difference in Cook being successful against the Bears or not. Last year we played him on Monday night too, and Cook had like 30 yards in the first 3 quarters, and then Hicks got hurt, and then Cook had like a lot. I mean, I don't remember this final, but he probably had like over 100 yards before the game was over. So, what do you think about with these key players?
Yep. It's the matchup of Jalen Johnson and Justin Jefferson. I think, I would love to see Jalen shadow him and just, because again, Justin's still going to get his to a certain aspect. As long as he's not, as long as he doesn't, hurt you too bad. Again, Adam Thielens is out. So you have KJ Osborne and Conklin as the other pieces of that offense that Kirk's going to rely on. Osborne's solid. Like you just don't want him to get behind you because he can make some plays. He's not Adam Thielen. But yeah, I'm just interested to see that matchup. Man, I hope Robert Quinn gets 2 sacks or something. Like, I hope he just goes out on a high note.
Yeah, for sure.
Like he's again just comeback player of the year for the Bears, hands down. I have obviously it's Monty every week. I always write David Montgomery's name down because 32 is the identity.
He is the identity.
But yeah, I mean, just showcasing that he can do more than just run, because we know he's an angry runner right from the jump every day. But right when he gets out of bed, he runs something over. But just just wanting to see him in the passing game more, utilizing him on some not just not just your vanilla screens, just utilizing him definitely in the passing game. He's got a nice little tree that he can run. The dude runs decent routes and has good hands, so
Yeah,
super underrated there.
for sure.
This might be Kirk's last game
Nah,
in a
really?
Vikings uniform. I mean, there's a lot. Isn't his deal over? Wasn't it only for 2 or 3 years when he
Man,
got there?
I can't remember. I'm not
I'm pretty sure this. I believe
not
this
aware
is.
of all things. Surely they're going to re-sign him. People are like, he's having his best year as a
He
Viking.
is.
So
He is. Kirk can ball, but Kirk is not a winner. Okay, shout out to Reggie
um,
Trotter. That's a Reggie Trotter quote right there.
I love
Kirk can ball,
that.
but he is not a winner, and I agree with that statement. So I think a change of scenery for him would be good, personally.
Where's he going?
We'll talk about where he could possibly go.
Yeah, he's 33 years old. Just
Hey, think about Kirk on the 49ers.
no, they have Trey Lance.
Oh well, okay.
He's 30 and 7 this year with a 101 rating, almost 4,000 yards.
Mm,
That's impressive. So
yeah.
he only threw for 87
Well,
yards against the Bears in Chicago, though. So for what
there's
that's worth.
another team that Kirk would be good to fall to. Oh, Pittsburgh. What about Pittsburgh? Think
That
about
would
Pittsburgh.
be a great place for him.
There you go.
It
So that's
really
what I meant
would.
to say.
They're gonna need a quarterback. I mean, any team that needs a quarterback, but
I'm just saying, Pittsburgh. They're all set up. They're pretty solid on the line. I know they have to probably reinvest. They have Nagy. They have all those weapons, and they have a top 5 defense.
yeah,
I'm just saying.
it'd be
I think
hard. It'd be hard to see the
that's
Vikings
chance to
going
go
away
in and
from
win
him.
right away. But
Yeah.
again, he's
Although,
not a winner, so he can go to the AF. I mean, he can go to
yeah,
he can go play in the WNBA, and he's not winning, so it doesn't
yeah.
matter. So
Who did they? Kellen Mond from Mississippi State. They did draft a guy last year, so
yep.
I guess if he's not coming back, that would be their look. But I don't think that would be good for the Vikings. Honestly, I feel like if you have a guy who's
I think they all believe Zimmer's gone, and they're going to start over. Honestly, I mean, or at least
dang,
find a new head coach. And
dang, and the
I don't know.
Packers continue
Definitely,
to
Kirk could definitely stay. I could see it, but like I said, I'm not ruling out. He could definitely go somewhere else.
for sure. All right, prediction time. I'm taking the Bears 24-21 over the Vikings. I feel like there's still a lot to be said for that last game, that Monday night game, and we really controlled that game. Probably should have won it, and just couldn't finish drives. And so I feel like we will finish drives. We've actually won the last 3 games in Minnesota, I believe. We won last year, which was a big game. Trubisky played well. Montgomery had a big game. Then we won the last game last game of 2019, and then we won the last game of 2018 there. So we're on a bit of a roll at Minnesota, and we've really done well there. So I continue to see us succeeding. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean they're giving the Vikings 3.5 points. It might change between now and when the game starts as far as the line movement, but
Yeah.
the fact that Justin Fields isn't playing hurts our chances, I believe. You know, a couple things that I'm going to do is I'm going to take this game to just evaluate the talent, the cornerback position, for example, our offensive line, especially those tackles, and who's going to be our offensive line next year, and then again looking at our offensive weapons. Is Bird an option to come back for a 1-year deal, team friendly? Probably not. Like I said, just looking at some other pieces, Cole Kmet. I know we'll have him. He's obviously locked up with us for a few years, but seeing his development. So just want to evaluate a little bit.
Yeah.
I have the Bears too. I think the Bears have done a really good job in the last decade of not winning the games that we need to, and winning the games that
That's what I'm talking about.
we don't need to.
Right.
So yeah, I'm going to take the Bears 24-17. I think the defense locks down Dalvin Cook, and I think makes Kirk make a couple bad decisions. And we're more banged up on the injury side than Minnesota is. And let's not, I think the Vikings are obviously a better team right now. I just think, again, I think Chicago has more to play for, believe it or not.
Yeah. But
Which sounds rhetorical. I mean, it just sounds crazy to say because everyone knows Nagy's gone. But
Yeah.
That's another thing, Scott. When are they going to fire him? Is it going to be on Sunday? Is it going to be Monday? Is it going to be Sunday night? What's your prediction as we move out of the era?
Look, there's no rush to do it on Sunday night. I think it'll happen like Monday morning. He's gonna have his interview. We're gonna do it the right way. Like we're a class organization. I'll say that much, right? We could have fired him like 4 or 5 weeks ago, and if they were gonna wait this long, like they don't need to do it on Sunday. So I'm hoping for one more club dub for the Nagy era. So anyway, um, yeah, that will do it for this season on Turn Up Bear Down. Unfortunately, no playoff game for us, but we will be back. So stay tuned, and thank you for stopping by.